Hi everybody, welcome to Caketastic Cakes. It's Jen and I'm going to show you how to make True and Cumulo from True in the Rainbow Kingdom out of gum paste. Okay, before we get started, just like always, if there's any supplies or tools that you may need, if you check in the description below, I have links that might be able to help you. All right, now to begin, I'm starting with Cumulo, our little cloud friend here. I took some white, I put it over the top of that container of black food coloring that you saw there, just to kind of hollow it out and round it off. So I'm making more of a dome because if he was solid, he'd weigh about 1,000,000 tons, and he would also just take forever to dry. I stuffed the hollow underneath of him with some paper towels to hold the shape and help him dry out a little faster, and smoothed them out. As you saw, I used my paddles and just kind of smoothed them out. I'm going to make two little eyes. I'm using my ball tool, the big end there, just shoving it in and kind of lifting it up and moving around a little bit. And yeah, just make a couple little eyes. That's all you have to do. And we'll fill it in from there. I'm going to use this kind of it's not light blue, it's almost like a bright blue color for his eyes. Just fill the whole entire eye in, and we're going to, color it in and everything later, because this show, I don't know if you saw the Bartleby I made. The eyes are very colorful. There's a lot of shading to them, and I'm going to show you what we do for that. Okay, so he has enormous pupils, so we're going to use a lot of black and fill it in almost, all the way to, most of the blue is going to get covered by the black, is what I'm trying to say here. I also have the irises or the pupils, kind of positioned so that they're looking up. So make sure you note that, because he's going to be looking at True as she sits on him. I added a little smile, a little piece of black gum paste, as you saw, between the eyes that does not go underneath. And now I'm using my blue food coloring marker. It's like a dark royal blue, navy blue, to color the sides and around the top of the eyes, but not the bottom. Leave the bottom that bright blue that we started with. I used a little bit of water on this paintbrush, and I'm kind of just pulling that navy blue and painting it around the top and onto the sides just to kind of even it out. Now I'm going back with a black food coloring marker, and I'm doing the top of the eyes and just a little bit down to the sides, like not even halfway down the sides, not even that much. And that will make it more shaded, more graded. I'm using that white or the wet paintbrush again, taking the black, putting it onto the pupils so that they're shiny, smearing it around on the sides, and add one little white dot of gum paste to each eye for a highlight. And yeah, he's got pretty eyes. They're all shaded. There's depth to them. They're shiny. I took some water and a little bit of pink and mixed them on my counter there, and using my ball tool made two dots to make the cheeks. All right, True, on the other hand, she's a little more complicated. I started with kind of a squared off circle for her head of just, beige color. And I'm using a purpley blue color gum paste, and I rolled it out kind of flat, as you can see, to just kind of make, almost looks like a tongue if you're making a puppy or something. Her hair is very rounded, very thick lumps, and there's 4 of them. You got the one main one that sweeps off to the side. They all kind of sweep to the side. And so go with that design in mind. And I'm adding the lines of her hair, just using my knife blade to chop as you saw me do. And they stagger, so make a 4 across, like I said, and make them smaller in length as you go. And they go across the top. The sides are a little more round. You can see I kind of put a divot in it to try to separate out her sideburns, I guess, and left a little hole that I used my circle cutter with to give space for her ears, which I forgot to add. So I'm looking back on this True, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I did all that for her, and I forgot to add her ears. And I'm going to pretend like none of you even noticed until I pointed it out, because that's like how awesome it looks. So if you do remember to put her ears on, that's great. You're ahead of me in the game then. Okay, this piece is going to be the back of her head. It's just a circle I pressed flat, left it domed, putting in my little chop marks. And that's going to round off her head as well as cover up the big bald spot she's currently got. You don't have to worry too much about the seam between the two, because she wears that lovely headband that will hide everything. So yeah, there you go. The head's going to come off of Cumulo. I just put it on there so I knew where everything would sit and line up, so I had an idea of where to work from. So yeah, roll out your white nice and thin, cut a rectangle, a long rectangle. You can always trim it shorter if you need to. Lay it across the seam, and boom, baby. There you go. You got True's little headband going. Her decoration on her headband, I don't know if it's a bow, I don't know what it is, but it's cute, it's colorful. So make two balls that are really big, a red and light blue, make a yellow one in the middle, and there you go. She's got her little headband. And it's funny because the first time I ever saw her, I thought of those hair ties from the 80s that had the giant plastic ball on either side of the elastic that you'd like wrap around the end of your ponytail and you'd whip your head around and hit people. That's what I did anyway. But anyway, okay, back to True's body here. Okay, I took a white rectangle, as you can see, kind of thick. I use a circle cutter to cut off the one end so it will fit right up against her head because I'm doing her in parts. Her legs were just tapered rolls of pink that I bent up. And as you can see, I stuck her into a styrofoam block and I used some dried spaghetti to hold her legs bent up because I wanted her legs kind of kicked up in the air, sort of. Now that piece of red is going to go on that very thinly rolled out rectangle of pink. That's going to become her skirt. And I'm just putting that red on as the end of her skirt. She has that like red, I don't know, hem on the top and bottom. So that's what I'm doing there. I'm rolling it up kind of a little bit, like wrinkling it up. Tuck in under your sides. If I had not made it wrinkly, it just would have laid flat across her and it would have looked kind of less like a skirt and more like, I don't know, a blanket or something. So that's what I was trying to do, make her skirt look a little more interesting. Put a little red waistband around it where it connects to the white. There you go. She's already coming together. These yellow are going to be her boots. I just took a cylinder, kind of pressed down on the one end to make it flare out a little bit like a boot, and trimmed it off kind of short. I am going to lose a little bit of detail. You see how I'm pressing down on the one side, pinching a little bit, so it kind of makes the toes of her boot stick out more. Keep them pretty minimal though. There's not a lot of shape in her boots or anything like that. Add a little bit of water, press it on top of her leg, just like so. And you don't have to worry too much if it doesn't match up perfectly. Of course, you know, do the best you can, but we're going to cover it up. And this is what I was meaning when I said that I end up losing a little bit of the detail here because I know the socks that she wears has different color stripes into it. Her legs are too tiny. She's too tiny. There's no way I can fit all the colors in there. So I just went with the blue because I liked it. I thought it would stand out nicely. So, and I didn't want to mix purple because I didn't have any purple and I'd have to mix it. My hands are already stained up. So anyway, I just took a long thin strip of blue, as you saw, wrapped it around the entire legs. And I'm just using the knife blade, ooh, sorry about that, to press in between the legs to separate it out, tuck it in nice and tight. And it still gives the good effect of her socks that show at the top of her boots. So even though you're losing a couple colors, it's not so bad. Okay. Remember I said I took her head off? That's because it was way too soft. I don't know if it's the weather, because it's been raining constantly here for weeks, which is great for when you're in quarantine and already a little depressed. Anyway, I digress. Okay, it's making it so the decorations are taking longer to dry, and that makes me insane. So her head was just kind of slouching off of Cumulo, so I took it off and put it in this little round dish I have. I'm just drawing on with a black marker, food coloring marker, the eyes, as you see, with 3 eyelashes on either side, and a little happy face. I'm giving her the same color purpley blue as her hair, a couple little eyebrows. They're very small, so don't go crazy with them. She apparently keeps them very, very fashionably styled and trimmed and groomed, so they're not very big. And then again, put it to the side to dry if it's anything like mine. All right, I'm making her arms and her sleeves now. I had put the head on Cumulo to see where the head would sit and then match the body up to it. Those spaghetti sticks are driving into his Cumulo's body now, or head, I don't know what he is, cloud body. And so that's going to help the legs sit upright. I'm also bracing it with a piece of styrofoam and the paper towel because it's taking forever to dry. So her sleeves are just 2 big balls of white, one on either side, as you see. And you saw how I made the arms. I rolled them out, pressed down the hands at the end, and then used my X-Acto knife to cut out little thumbs and make indents for the fingers. And to join the seam between the two is she has like a little band of white that kind of fits tight to her arm, a little cuff, I guess you'd call it. So I rolled out some white really thin, paint on a little bit of water. This is all attached with water. Trim off the extra with your knife, and there you go. Tuck it up, tuck it in, bada bing, bada boom. All right, Cumulo kind of has 2, I'm going to call them arms on either side, so that's what I did here. I just kind of made, like a hot dog. I trimmed off a little bit with the circle cutter you see there so it would fit up against his body better. I didn't really have to do it, but I did it, so, like, whatever. Okay, now we're getting back to True's head. I put her nose on just a little dot of the same color gum paste, stick it on with water, and there you go. And if you remember, add ears, but I didn't. She's got her two little pigtails. Those are just little heart shapes that I stuck on either side. And there you go. You got Cumulo and True, and it's very cute, right? She came out really cute, I think, even though she's missing ears. So hopefully you like this video. Please like and subscribe because that helps me out. I have a lot of other videos out there, so please check them out. Stay safe and healthy, guys. And as always, thank you for watching Caketastic Cakes.